everyone, my name is AJ and welcome to my studio. Now, yes, the screen is completely white, and that is for one specific reason. You are actually much closer to the camera than, well, the paper is much closer to the camera than usual. As you can see, my hand is significantly larger, and there's a reason for this. We're going to be doing something with a little more detail. We're going to be covering how to color with colored pencils. It's going to be more technique. I'm just feeling like we need to do this instead. So, all you're going to need is I've got regular printer paper here, and I've got just 3 colored pencils. I've got Scarlet, I've got, olive, and I've got ultramarine, which is just a rather rich shade of blue. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see this. It should show up pretty well, but we'll work with that as we get to it. So, let's get started. Now, there are a few minor nuances when it comes to coloring with colored pencils that many beginners don't exactly understand. For instance, you can really control how much what is considered saturation with simply pressure. Hopefully that shadow doesn't get in the way. I've got a bright lamp just off camera. So let's just, let's add a quick scribble here. Oh, that's showing up perfectly. Alright. I just wanted to be sure that could actually show up. I mean, it's faint, but it's there. So, what, saturation. Or maybe not saturation, I can't think of the word off the top of my head. It's still morning here. So, basically, the richer the color is, how rich the color is determined by how hard you press. So what I just did was I was barely touching the paper here, and, well, this can vary depending on what grade of pencil you have. I'm currently using Prismacolor Premier. You probably can't see that all that well, but these are Prismacolor pencils. So if I were to press harder, get this really rich color. And this can be used to build some very nice gradients from near perfect pigmentation all the way through into white. And this has some very applicable principles. Now, the problem with colored pencils is that, as you can very clearly see, there's this very grainy look. One of the things you can do to alleviate this is if you were to, let's go over here, color in one direction. I should probably have made these have a finer point. I literally just pulled them out of the box. So we color in diagonal here. Now what we can do is we can go in the opposite direction. So instead of going at this direction, we're going to be going like this, turning a full 90 degrees. And go at it this way. Maybe lay it a little flatter here. Most of it is controlled with subtle movements. And then you choose 2 directions. Actually creates a much more flat color. You can't really see it on the camera, unfortunately. Maybe if I hide the lamp a little more. There you go. You should be able to see it a bit better. Maybe. But it's much more flat. Take my word for it. And what you could do is go a 3rd direction. So what we're going to do is turn, so that way we're going up and down, and lay down again. And it creates this really, really flat color. Really nice, even, flat tone. And this is how you're going to get some very even colors. Now there are some other tools you can get as well that can do the same thing. Do I have it over? No, it's in my box of colored pencils, and I'm not going to dig it out. But it's basically a burnisher and blender pencil. And these really just pick up the pigment and throw it around so that way it gets flat and rich. But this is just for beginners. So, what can some of this use as application? Well, you can get smooth transitions between either 2 colors. Yeah, I've got my green now. Or from a lighter shade to a darker shade, if you're using multiple shades to get a cleaner transition. So what I've got is my green and my blue, and what I'm going to show you here is how to blend the two so that you get this nice gradient. And we're not going to go with the multiple directions thing, we're just going to go with the just up and down. So I'm going to start with my green, and if you want to follow along, go ahead. So I'm going to lay down a heavy shade right here, and as I go across, I'm going to let up on how much pressure I'm laying down. And it's good to go back over it a couple of times to help build the gradients. Sometimes it's almost better, and as I'm getting further across, you can see it's getting much, much lighter. To the point where you actually almost can't see it on the camera. And that's actually what I'm wanting to go for. Then you're going to set your pencil aside and take your next color, whatever it is. As you can see, it looks purple on the camera, but this is like a rich blue. Then we're going to start in the middle of this gradient with a very light application of pressure. Oh, that was a little hard. It's a bit of a trick to get down, and if I had my pencils properly sharpened, it would probably work better. But I'm going to be a bum here. And then just build it across. And then as you get further away, add the pressure. I'm actually going to step it up right away and then build it over. Everyone's technique is different. There's this brilliant colored pencil artist on YouTube, and DeviantArt, and Instagram, and I think one other channel, social media site, I don't remember. On YouTube, he's known as Seiji Senpai, and he has beautiful colored pencil videos. But this is just a basic technique. So once you've done that, go back to your initial color and start building it again. All of this is done in layers. You know, like Shrek said, layers! You've got to work in layers. And if you apply this properly, you can get this beautiful transition. It takes practice, though. Don't think that you're going to get it right off the bat. It takes lots of practice. That, more than anything else, is what you should take away every time you see a tutorial, is practice. Something that's not emphasized enough, because it's just believe that you can get it right off the bat. Smooth it out, maybe by going in a different direction. Yeah. I think that's a fairly good transition. Does it look like that? Kind of. I'm not used to blending between two colors like this. I'm used to going between more direct shades. So for me personally, I would have gone with like 4 or 5 different shades in order to get the transition better. But what are you gonna do? Some notes that I want to leave is that if you were to try and take like complementary colors, this is something important. So you have complementary colors red and green. You can't easily do this same trick and get a nice transition between these two, because, well, they're on opposite ends of the color wheel. So you'd have red and green, then you'd have blue and orange, and then you'd have purple and yellow on opposite ends, respectively. You can't blend direct opposites together. They'll only wind up with this muddy gray color. I speak from experience. But I could show you just to demonstrate how it looks. So we're going to go with this again. Going to go in the opposite direction now. See if I can't make this smooth here. Maybe build it. Maybe go out a little more with the shading until it's almost not there. There we go. Yeah, it's almost gone on there. And then we're going to go with the red. Start with the large pressure. And just build it down. Step it down. No pressure. And we'll see in just a moment what I'm talking about here. How it just doesn't work as well. I mean, you can still build a gradient. It just doesn't look very good because, well, as I said, it looks gray. And I think that's just part of color theory. I might do an in-depth video on that in a later date. Yeah, see, it just creates this muddy color. It doesn't work. So if you want to look up the color wheel, you'd have red, orange, yellow. No. Maybe. No, it's green over here. So it'd be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then several shades of purple going into kind of a pink color, and then back to red. The color wheel. And you can see that if you try to go opposite, some of them will have kind of these shades of gray going into black in between. So complementary colors cannot blend like this, as you can see right here. So this is just a quick tutorial. It's more about technique, excuse me, than actual artwork, but this can be very useful. And I hope you did find it useful, and if you like this video, please hit that like button, and to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell to receive notifications every time I post a new video. I hope you have a good day, and God bless.